Welcome to today's Seidokan Saturday. So in the continuing series on Hojo Undo, or auxiliary exercises, last week I talked about the iron palm bag and its use for grasping or grabbing a hold of something. There are two basic types of gripping strength. The first is the ability to close in and squeeze, the clawing motion, if you will, and to get a hold of something, to actually see something and close in on it. The second is grip strength itself. Once you have it, so seizing or grasping versus gripping. Once you have a hold of something, being able to keep that. The common training tool for this, the most common training tool for this, is the Nigiri Game, or the gripping jars. The gripping jars are used a little differently. Normally when we pick things up, we pick them up with our hand like this, and the thumb simply closes in. With the Nigiri Game, we're actually going to fold the thumb in and use the first knuckle of the thumb bent. So that's the first real difference. And if you look at the difference, I'll come in real close here. If you look at the difference between a hand grasping this way and a hand grasping this way, you can see how much tighter that is. And when you grab something like a wrist, if I just put my thumb around, that thumb becomes very much a weak spot. But if I bend that thumb and grip with the knuckle, it makes a much tighter grip. Try that with someone. Next time you're working wrist grabs or some sort of thing, see if you can grasp it with your thumb all the way bent in and see how much tighter that grip becomes than just trying to hold here. The grip strength, and this is something that you'll see also in Iaido, Kendo, Kenjutsu, sword arts, is that most of your grip is in these three fingers. The rest of your grip, the index finger and the thumb, really don't contribute much in the standard way of holding something. But if you look at how we make a fist, which if you go way back to the earlier videos, where we fold that thumb in and you apply that same concept of pulling that thumb in to hold your fist properly, and now you apply that same concept to your grip, you'll see a big difference in how tightly you can maintain your hold on something. So to train this, we use Nigiri Game. The stone jars, the clay jars, these were gifted to me a long time ago by a student. They sent them directly from the Seido martial arts store on Okinawa. It was a fabulous gift. There's no way I can thank them enough. Long before I ever had a chance to go to Okinawa to receive gifts from there. The thing about them is that they fit, that the opening fit the size of your hand. Now you can use a variety of things. Back in the older days and in my some of the videos that I've done before, I actually used large pickle jars and put the lid on, and you can close your thumb around it. The nice thing with the large pickle jars, I had those filled with water, so they had a good deal of weight to them. The second thing about the jars, besides the gripping method, which again is to hook the thumb underneath and then kind of pull towards so your hand rotates into position. As you do that, it rotates into position. If you ever think about Seisan, you can see that movement. So that you get the full side of your thumb in under the lip of the jar. Okay? So it needs to sort of fit your hand that way so that you can, and again I'll come up close and show you the grip where my thumb, rather than just holding with the tip of the thumb, is actually bent all the way under and behind on the jar. So that's the first thing, is how to properly grasp it to train the grip that is peculiar to Okinawan karate. You can put sand and more weight into them. Starting just with the jars is plenty sufficient, trust me. But like I said, I used to use the pickle jars, and I had some that were half full and some all the way full of water, and that's what I used until I got this wonderful gift. Then later, one of my students, Kelly Barr Fairbanks, actually had a pottery class or friend or instructor, and she had these made for me. And so again, the specific jar doesn't matter so much as that it have an ample lip that you can get your grip all the way properly around with your thumbs in the correct position. Okay, so Nigiri Game, having the jars, getting the grip. So now, once I know how to get the grip, what do I do with them? I stand up and just hold the jars. Oh, that's fun. The Nigiri training is central, especially to any system that does sanchin kata. We have an old sanchin kata in Seidokan that is sometimes done. I know Master Toma used to do it. We don't practice it as part of our regular core of kata, but the kata seisan is actually a derivative or an expansion of sanchin. Sanchin is a preliminary practice toward seisan, which is our core kata. And it does come from the Naha series. Somehow it got added into the Shorin complex and sort of switched sides. I'm not sure when that transition happened, but Master Toma actually learned seisan from a Goju-ryu instructor originally. In Uechi-ryu, where you'll see this gripping form even more prominently, they do it. And so the stance that they'll use tends to be the sanchin dachi, which is a turned in, knock-kneed, hip posteriorly rotated position. Again, it's not a stance we use in Seidokan, but our version, because we're practicing seisan, is the shikodachi. So to use the Nigiri Game in the Seidokan context, we're going to use our shikodachi. Now you can just bend over and pick up the jars, but to be more polite and correct about it, we would bow, we would step into between the jars, bending at the knees, keeping the heels down, take the appropriate grip, getting your thumbs under the jars. From here, the most basic exercise is to step into shikodachi. Now with the jars in this position, I'm not really going to do anything except step through and between them. So the idea is to walk forward and backwards as smoothly as possible, keeping the jars in that position. And when you finish, again, setting them down, end of the formal exercise. That's the basic of Nigiri Game. The longer you walk, obviously, the longer you have to work on keeping your grip strong. Your fingers will get strong from this, I promise you, that jar grip. Now, in addition to adding sand or water for additional weight, we have several ways we can progressively train this. Number one, take more steps, or keep doing it for a longer time. So we can have duration, which will increase the endurance portion of my grip. We can add weight, which will increase the strength of my grip. Then we can also add motion, okay? So I can take 3 steps forward, 3 steps back as a beginner, then 6 steps forward, 6 back, and then 6 forward, back again, and keep going and add duration. I can add weight and duration. So get heavy ones and do it a longer time. You'll find it fatigues you pretty quickly. So we address, we get the jars, bending at the waist, picking them up with the thumb properly folded underneath. We step into our shikodachi. Now the next thing that we can do is move the jars. One of the more common is to simply lift. This is a good deltoid trapezius exercise that combines moving. And whenever you move a part of your body while maintaining grip, because we're not going to be standing still holding somebody. They'll struggle, they'll try to get out. So we need to be able to move with our grip, okay? Another method that we can use is bringing them up and out to the sides as we step. Again, strengthening the shoulders along with the grip. Okay, so those are 2 other variants. Now, depending on the weight of the jars, I'm not sure I can do this with it. Okay, I guess I can. Another thing that we can add to that is lifting the jar to the front as you move. I wasn't sure I could do it because I haven't done this with empty jars for a while. So lifting the jars for the game, side, one at a time in front, straight forward, and again, seisan, that's our position. We have it forward, okay? replicating some of those elements of Seidokan Kata with the jars. Those are the basic fundamental drills. Practice those a couple or 3 times a week. Develop a routine. Any of these exercises that I'm giving you are all obviously optional. You can just show up to class, learn the moves, go through the motions, go home. Great. If you want to elevate your self-defense, strengthen the tools with which you are going to defend yourself, sharpen your weapons, these are exercises that it's worthwhile to find a way to incorporate on a regular basis. Okay? Nigiri Game, gripping jars, highly recommended for your grip strength. Good luck, keep practicing.